Hi, this is Gila and I'm a sacred erotic love mentor. You're tuned into Collaboration Ascension series, and I have some special guests with me today. I'm very, very excited to introduce them to you. Jason, Michael, and Heather Grace Powers of the Powers of Love. I met them through Georgina Beaumont. I interviewed her earlier and we just totally connected and we have similar philosophies. So I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves to our audience.
Nice.
We say aloha. Not that we're from Kauai or the Hawaiian Islands, but we
Not
love
this time
to
around.
we love to greet with the aloha. It's kind of like a namaste, but it's that one breath, that one spirit, that one presence that we all dwell in, that we share, that aloha, ohana. We are one family, so we say hello to you. And who are we? Why are we here?
We are really grateful, first of all. Just, when you sent the invitation, we're really excited to, like Jason said earlier, just to be arcing from the city of angels to Israel. What a fun, blueprint that is. Love is all that is real, and that is our daily practice. It is the map of our journey together, and we are passionate about pointing others back to the love that they are themselves and experiencing that in their relationships and finding out where love can still have more room to grow. So
it's funny that we're just really just listening to a few things lately the last couple of days about our personality and the things that we do in the world. Who are we? I mean, who are we really? Who are you really? I mean, are we what we do and our stories of our past and our accolades and all these things? And we have some of those things. We got some little letters after our name, but we are just, part of the human family, just like you, trying to expand love in our own life and inspire that love in everywhere we go and do. And so we do that through what we call love and soul coaching, is the powers of love. We really force in the universe. And so if we can help awaken that in an individual that's looking to call in a greater love in their life, or if they're in a crisis moment, to really help dissolve the barriers and the blocks and the karmic loops that we get involved in, lifetimes of things that sometimes we've accumulated. And so we compassionately, lovingly walk individuals and couples through those icky moments, and then Heather is a singer-songwriter.
I was just gonna say, a big part of our union and individually, music is at the core of everything that we do, because we realize that, when you strip away everything, when you strip away our language, when you strip away our ability to try and, box what there's that sacred sound that flows through all of us. And we find that when we lead with that sacred sound, it opens people's hearts to be more receptive to the field of love that we all are. It's that transcending language that no one can argue with, right? Dissolves our barriers. So
Yeah.
Heather's a mom. I'm a father. We have 3 kids amongst us. Heather's been married a couple times. I've been married once before. We came together about 7 years ago, I think, now that we've been in each other's lives and saying yes to this dharmic path of love. And we raise a 13-year-old that keeps us on our toes currently, and Heather's got a
29-year-old and a 26-year-old and about to be a grandmama.
Oh, congratulations. Wow, exciting news. Thank you for sharing. And I agree. I think sound, even just the sound of our voices, whether people can understand the language or not, it's we're like activating each other. And
absolutely
right, sound is universal. Even Om, like just a sound, it has a vibration that ripples throughout your body. I learned something called Nada Yoga when I was in India with my kids recently, And it's just like you close off everything, you close your ears, and you just, you make a sound with your mouth closed, and you hear yourself vibrating. And when you do that, you can actually get into the silence behind the sound.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
life.
Yes,
Just feel it.
yes. That's so the passion of our hearts.
Yeah.
We're actually doing a program right now called Sing Your Soul Awake, and it's really helping people understand that their body is a tuning fork for the divine. And so as we utilize sound and specific frequency and mantra and intention, that we clear the path for that higher communication to just really be unimpeded. So we totally appreciate you sharing that.
You remind me of when we both kind of emerged from the fundamental Christian paradigm. We spent a lot of years walking with Jesus Christ and how those teachings of the Bible specifically, and have, expanded that and not left that fully, like the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness. We understand we've got, as we say, we left Jesus to gain Christ. But in those days when after the towers went down, something shifted, and I missed God, the God of my understanding, the God presence that I would love to pray in. And I just wasn't going to church. I wasn't doing anything spiritual anymore. I left that whole thing going, I'm done with that. But I picked up a CD by Wayne Dyer called Manifestation Through Meditation. And that's when I began my meditation. And in it, and points to what you were saying, he did this 20-minute in the morning and 20-minute Om at night. And that first night, I'll never forgetting oming for 20 minutes and feeling that vibration in my temple. I wept. So I'm like, there you are, God. There you are, divine. There you are. And I can do this in my own living room. I don't have to go to a temple, church. I can do this.
Yes.
It was so liberating, and just simple, sound meditation. I suggest that just home for 20 minutes and watch what happens.
Yeah, it's a huge part of our life.
Yeah.
We're a singing household.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really beautiful. And I want to talk about that a bit, because you talk about relationships and higher consciousness and divine love, and what about, and you came from a religious background, so divinity within, what is your what's your take on that? Do you believe we are divine beings? Do you believe there's just a universe out there that's our God, and we are, I don't know. I mean, I believe that we're all divine beings, but I just want to know what you think.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's interesting just even pointing back to our background, because as we know, consciousness kind of moves upward in a spiral, and so all of these stepping stones and foundational blocks that we have had along the way were pointing to the same thing. And the gift of awakening, recognizing that Christ mind, that divine mind, that universal mind is what we truly are, and that there is nothing else. There's no separation. We are exploring in the multiplicity of what is, and we are not aware of all of it yet, though we are connected to all of it. There is no separation. And that staying in that allows us to see what is true, what is real, without, each moment it comes so divinely.
That's such a great, huge question.
Yeah, totally.
Sister.
That could be like hours.
Yeah, really. We can spend a whole hour on talking about it.
It as I often say, it's the good and the bad news.
Yeah, totally.
It's the, we want to, there's somewhat a payoff in being, I'm just a puppet of some, deity that's outside of me. I'm in a fate, destiny path, and everything's happening to me, and it's happening to our world, and God's doing this to us, and there's a sense of just, there's no personal responsibility. When I woke up and realized that there is a guidance that's operating through me, that's activating, we call it the mental equivalent. As I'm a licensed practitioner, so I spent time in understanding this creative process. But based on the two basic laws, the laws of divinity, of man and woman, that we are divine beings, and the law of cause and effect, that it is done unto you as you choose to believe, as Jesus the Christ would teach us. And so knowing that I am, that Christ, that Yeshua, that this being was our way short, seeing that I and the Father, or Mother Principle, are one. We are one. That which God is, I am. And that is a liberating thing. But it can be very, because now you got to take personal responsibility for your creation, for your local universe, and know that you are, you're the drop and you're the ocean and you're all that. But and as Heather was saying, I believe this is what you were alluding to, is that we're still just understanding what that means, who we are. That's what I was saying early on. Like, yeah, we do these things and we are these things, but there's so much more to who we are, to that God presence, that divine being in us, that it serves us to be humble and to be curious and to learn more, and not to go, well, I've learned all this, I've read all that, and I got these cool superpowers and I can read the Akash, and but to truly go, let me just stay in that humility, because that which I am, that which God is so much more than what we understand yet.
I think, the more we grow, the more advantageous it feels to let everything behind us, all the tools and tricks that we've learned along the way, maybe to see, to let them go. It feels very freeing to be enjoying just being ourselves, and letting the frameworks of how we've understood these concepts, just to let them be, just be ourselves, is so liberating.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think that is, sometimes that's the most challenging, at least it was for me in my path initially, and even with love and sexuality, like, what does that mean to be when we've had so many structures on us to say, this is how you're supposed to be, especially me, or all of us coming from whatever. I was also coming from a religious background, conservative background, and, this is how a woman's supposed to be. And then like, well, that's not really how I feel, so I think, it's like, what do you feel? Your feelings are your guidance system, like, if it doesn't feel right, then don't do it,
Right.
regardless of who's telling you that that's what you should do.
Yes. That's powerful. Yeah. We have been programmed, and no matter what culture we come from, to be part of who we are, and to really dissociate the things that we know and the knowledge that we acquire with what we experience in our bodies. And a lot of the work that we have done and do on a daily basis, but want to support others in, is to reconnect that mental field with the body. Because I love our Baba Ramdas, that we love so much. He says, the mind it's a lousy leader. It's a great servant, but a lousy leader. And if they're in disharmony with each other, which we find probably most people that we come across have been disembodied at some level, and reconnecting that is vital for all of us to really claim that divinity and the power that comes when we're okay being ourselves.
Yeah, it's interesting, because we for men, we tend to be very, typically, and I say generally, we're thinkers. We use our minds. We use our, this is just logical, and this is what's linear, and this is what's, so coming into the heart and coming into the emotional field, emotional literacy is such a still untapped paradigm on the planet, that we're coming to understand the power of energy and motion. That is the fuel of creation. Is why we experience what we create, because of our emotional field. And how men are learning to go, oh, I've got this untapped resource, but not negating the mind, and going, okay, well, I'm feeling this. Men's complaint about women generally is like, oh, they're just so emotional, they're chaotic, I can't, let me fix you, stop crying, right? But it's such a, this is, as within, so without. So it's like, we love that. I think it was a little Pixar, but the beauty of the dance of day and night, or the mind and it was Inside Out.
Yeah.
It was this little dance of the mind and the heart, and coming into balance and going, I'm feeling angry. And so the mind does go, you don't have to say it. You don't have to go, let me just spit out, you know.
Yes, you need to know.
It's like there's this, you know, that beautiful balance of going, I don't feel like working out today. Well, the mind goes, but you said you wanted to lose, you know. So you know what I mean? It's that beautiful balance and not negating the mind and not being overwhelmed, you know, by the heart and the emotional field.
Yeah, so true.
I think I've felt in my own life, and I want to, and with my clients as well, it's a very, it's an unclear path when we're following our heart space, because we haven't, you know, we have no logical way of dealing with it, because it's a path of the emotions. And that's so, you know, like you said, it's kind of untapped also for women, even though, you know, people think that we don't know either, you know. So we may express it a little bit more than men, but it's scary. And so how do you help your clients with that, you know, because really what the fear is, I feel, and with my own clients, is the fear of opening your heart and really trusting it and knowing that that's the truth.
Yeah, so true. You know, the journey, you've heard this probably a million times, but the journey from the head to the heart is a really difficult one, because we've been so programmed out of our feelings. I think probably the whole world at some level. And because of the armament around our hearts, and because this life experience, you know, is one of a whole range of emotions, and we have shunned a lot of the more uncomfortable emotions, and so we are not open a lot of times to feeling the gold that lies within those painful places. And I think over and over again, when we're either with each other or our own journey, or helping, you know, support other people's journey, there is a reactive place that when people get too far into feeling the pain, all the resistance goes up, all the feelings, or all the, you know, the structures we've built around ourselves to keep us safe, and the ego kind of blinds us to being what that is. And what we find over and over again is that love, when we really truly understand that love will guide us, but first she will ruin us and ruin everything that we thought we were. You know, helping guide people in that process, that it's okay to feel the pain. And it's in fact not only okay, but it's vital that we allow ourselves to feel what's really there.
I found with our work, and just personally, like, there's a disarming that happens when we lead with our weakness. You know, we're sometimes programmed to lead with our strength. This is who, you know, this is what I've learned. This is who I am. This is what I've accomplished, you know. But if it takes great courage to lead with your weakness. And I think I've found when I'm weak, I'm strong. When I'm transparent, you know, when I open up my heart and go, look, you know, we all have shadow, we all have struggle, and so that opens up, I believe, a compassionate grace field that goes, you know, now, you know, as I am, so are you. So, you know, I believe that Jesus had dominion over hell. So that consciousness, hell's not a place. He had dominion over the hellacious consciousness we experience. So let's talk about how do we get out of hell. Let's talk about that. So I think that's a big piece of you know, I vacillate because, well, we're masters of love, and it's like, no, we're on the path of mastery, but we're still bumbling and stumbling just like all of us. And these are some tools and things that we've learned over time that get us out of hell and come into a heaven-like consciousness.
And not be afraid of hell.
No.
You know, I think I love that. Just I love the analogy of Jesus, because part of right before his resurrection and really rising and ascending, was in that field of the underworld that we all go through in our dark night of the soul, and how vital it is, those lower chakras that tend to run our life until we become conscious of them and bring light to them, and understand that there's really nothing to fear in that space, just like what's going on in the world. We really have nothing to fear, though it looks very hopeless in some cases.
And I think that's what touches upon what, we began this conversation when we first, met and talked, and what we know about your work is really, we knew when we came together, when I first, we had a Zoom call years ago, Skype call it was, Zoom wasn't around then.
Right.
And we knew intuitively, innately, our own calling in this life stream was to help clear the distortions around sex, money, and power, and how intricately they're connected, and how intricately they are the cause of divorce, dissolution of love and marriages and relationships. And so bringing, purity to all these, we talk a lot about pure love, pulo, as I like to call it, that there's this purifying essence that comes in, so we can purify sex, money, and power. I believe we radiate, we do something beyond what we can even imagine. So our goal is to help clear those, around sexual distortions. And as men, that's a big, we have separate have a men's circle that we're going into the shadow around sexual distortion and coming into integrity and coming into purity. And what that means, not prudish, because we know, when you understand sex is God, that's not what we were programmed in the tradition. That was no, but it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the freedom.
Without a doubt.
But it's also the belly of the beast that we're experiencing on the planet right now. It's the cause of division. It's the cause of the war.
Yes.
And so, that's a big part of our work, is coming into sacred sexual alchemy and what that truly means, and helping couples come into that. And it takes great work to come into those fields, people. But
and why are we so passionate about it? Because we both know the devastation of these things in our own lives, and lived, marriages that were a reflection of these things out of balance, and how devastating they can actually be. And so we're passionate about it in our own life first, and know that as we've been, liberated more and more, that we just are, the compassion for where we all are with these issues drives us. It's like it's what we eat, sleep, pray, sing, just to help free to enjoy that gift in freedom and purity.
Yeah, that's beautiful. This is airing on Beltane, the union of the masculine and feminine, so appropriate. And so that's when you get into that union within yourself first, and then with another. What I've experienced is you have a spiritual awakening. Like suddenly that force is so great that on a conscious level I didn't expect it, but probably on a subconscious and a heart conscious, I knew exactly what I was going into, and that just blew my mind. So that's actually my mission, is to help people to experience that, because it's possible. And if it's possible for me, it's possible for the two of you, it's possible for anybody on the planet. And I feel personally that all we want is love. That's all we desire. And it's this other stuff that gets in the way.
Yeah, that's true. That's my favorite line from Moulin Rouge. At the end, John Leguizamo says, what's the meaning of life? To love and be loved. That's it. That's it.
Right, that's it.
That's it. But how distorted it's been on our planet, and the things that we think love actually is are so not really what it actually ends up being. Just as we ourselves, the more that we come into our body and into ourself in the silence, we recognize that we are so much more, and then the outer experience begins to reflect the more that we allow in, and that love is not just a theory or an idea or something we're trying to reach for, realize it's all that we really are.
Yeah. And I think the thing that's coming up right now is that, you know, love is sometimes a scalpel, right? Because we get like in spiritual circles, like, la, 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 la. Oh,
Right.
those are the people that love a lot. And it's like, love is Shiva, right?
Yeah.
Love is that destroyer of the blocks to love.
Yes.
And what's getting in the way, and coming into really facing your shadows. So a lot of our work is shadow work.
Yeah.
Into that. And I think that's important.
Totally.
To, you know, that we're not just, you know, pink fluffy cloud love people, that, you know, there's a groundedness in the work that is going, you know, what is love saying to let go of, you know, so that greater love can expand. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I know I talk to lots of different people, and sometimes I think that people confuse, or, you know, there's varying levels, you know, sexuality sometimes can just be, people need intimacy. And they're not, you know, I always go back to myself or to themselves. Like, are you intimate with yourself? Do you really know what turns you on, you know? And unless you can get turned on by, like, even just eating a piece of fruit, you know, that can be a sexual experience, you know, and it doesn't have to include anybody else. But, and then you can move to another person once you, like you said, dealt with your own shadows, dealt with yourself. Then it becomes more of an open receiving field to be giving and receiving with another.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
We often, you know, we've had a lot of conversations about what twin flames are and twin souls and all that stuff, and we often we go back to the twin is within, you know. And that's that first and foremost, you know, the beauty of Heather and I coming together was because of the deep work that we've done individually. And that's continues to be the process of, you know, getting aware of the codependent patterns, or wherever that is, and going, no, you know, let's, like right now, Heather's got an amazing program, Sing Your Soul Awake. It is my honor to watch her do what she does and to support her as she sees, okay, Jason, your work with men is so powerful. So we have our individual gifting, and then we have our unified, how we do. But, you know, ultimately, no matter whether you're in a relationship, a beloved, you know, or not, what we do understand is we're in relationship no matter what, right? With life, with love, with ourselves, with our families, and just the world at large. And so all our work is not just about, you know, having a great relationship with another. It's really just ultimately back it up. It's how do you access your God presence right there, that you are the presence of love itself. You don't need anything. And then when you come to that place that you are that, now you're no longer looking to get something. Now you're like, where can I give? Who can I inspire? What can I give to life? You know, one of the great quotes we love is not gazing inwardly, like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you complete me. It's love is gazing outward in the same direction and being of service. You know, that is the joy of our hearts. And we love, I mean, I don't think there's a day we go by that we're not together and doing something together.
We love being
we
together.
do, but
you know, I just want to presence what you were sharing about the sexuality piece, because we were looking at each other yesterday, just talking about, you know, our journey of intimacy has been really, in a lot of ways, what's allowed us to continue to go deeper into the fire. Because there is, you know, when we're moving through patches that were, you know, something's being revealed or whatever, we've never closed down in that realm, and how important that has been, because we've remained open inside our own bodies to be able to really bring all these aspects back home to the self. That has been such a big piece for us. And I know that, you know, when we came together, like Jason said, we knew that we had these 3 gateways to clear, but we had no idea what we would be going on in order to do this together. you know, it's like having a child. You would never sign up if you knew what it was going to be like. And yet that's the majesty of love itself, you know, when love really brings us together with that other aspect that we can see in another person that's helping us reclaim even more of ourselves. How fundamental that sexuality is. And I know that we are both appreciative of the work that you're doing in that realm, because it restoring innocence in that area is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I appreciate that. I think that, I mean, that's really changed my life, and that's why I dedicated my mission to it, because I feel that it's untapped. You know,
Yeah.
our sexual energy is our creative force. It's our life force, and we think about it in terms of another, but it's just within us. You know, and when the fact you're singers, you can sing. I write poetry. You know, our creativity that turns us on. You know, the music of Mozart or Shakespeare, or whomever. It moves our souls.
Mm-hmm.
So connected to our womb space and our sacral chakra. And when you open that up, it's like it's magic.
Totally. It's so funny. All day yesterday, I was recording the sacral chakra toning for this next week, because that's the week that we're going into. So how appropriate this is.
So much heart resonance with you,
Totally.
sister. So grateful.
Yeah.
You know, I was telling Heather that how beautiful it is to arc all the way from Los Angeles to Israel, knowing that Israel, which is the holy marriage, the holy trinity, you know, of Isis, Ra, the sun god, and El, the Elohim, the beautiful trinitized, you know, that here we are on Beltane, you know, when the lover, when the green man and the mother nature, they come together, the creation, and like we're in the springtime, we're in that is this is what it's about, and we can enjoy that. And so whatever gets in the way of that union, you know, let us be diligent and honest and face those parts of ourselves with love and compassion and grace, and in community and support, because we don't have to do it alone. But I do know that when more and more people wake up this great love presence within them, you know, we're going to experience something, you know, that's profound, beyond
fearless and unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Before we continue, I just wanted you to share your programs in a little bit more detail, just a few minutes, just so that people know what's coming up. And I will be putting links in the YouTube details so that they can access you, probably your website, and to find out what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. We should start with your men's.
Well, yeah, we've got, as I said, we've got separate medicine for men and for women. I have a Sacred Circle of Men on Facebook that you can join, and we have, for those that are local in the Los Angeles area, we do meet when we get to meet again, in a park or go on hikes and have circles. But I have a virtual online circle that I've been doing for a long time. That is a really heart-centered group. It's very talking stick oriented. It's, where we come together. So that's one aspect. Mm-hmm. Called the Sacred Circle of Men.
Mm-hmm. And I have a group of women that we are in regular communication around all things, feminine, and the unique ways that we experience life in these different body temples. But what I've really been passionate about, because it's like I'm right in the thick of it, is Sing Your Soul Awake, and just really helping people understand how their body really is connected to everything, and that when we open those centers and get to know how our body actually works from the inside out, we really begin to experience life in a different way. And that is through music, and we are bookends to that experience. I'm really grateful to have my beloved as part of that as well. Vital part.
But the main crux of our work is the powers of love. The Awakening Love's Power is the Awakening Love program. That's a 6 to 7 week, 7th week if you want to go, take it to that next level. But generally, those people walk through transformational gateways of transforming, releasing, coming into some deep work with us. So people do that individually, or they do that in groups. And so we are in a process of getting ready to launch another online program that anybody can do right from their home with their beloved or not. Don't wait for your beloved. If one alone in consciousness constitutes the majority, if one of you gets ready to go, like, I'm ready to do the work and be that change that I want to be in a relationship, we encourage you to get a hold of us if you're really ready for a breakthrough.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very, very exciting. Anyone who's resonating right now, I'd recommend that you click on the links that I'll be putting in the details and get in touch with Jason or Heather. As you can see, they're very, very approachable. And
Totally.
I think it would be an honor to be in any of their programs. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Of course. And you have a special gift for us, or a special...
We do. We talked about singing. One of the things we do a lot of satsangs out here in Los Angeles, and we spoke a lot about Jesus in our conversation here, but we do walk a oneness path of universal spirituality, and a lot of our work is around Sanskrit, kirtan, and so we bring a unique element to mantra. And this is it's really our blessing to all of you right where you are. Ultimately what we want for the world is to be happy and to be free to love, free to be at peace in your own mind, free financially, free in your body temple, free to express yourself sexually in purity, like just free and happy. Ultimately, that's what this path is about, this journey, this earth school. How can we be free and happy in the now? So this is an ancient mantra. It's Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which just translates, may all beings be happy.
May all beings be free.
And may what we do, I do, contribute to that peace, to that freedom, to that happiness of all life. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May my words and thoughts and feelings be the blessing this world longs to see. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May my words and thoughts and feelings be the blessing this world longs to see. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sing with us if you can. You don't have to right there, but at home. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May my words and thoughts and feelings be the blessing this world longs to see. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.
bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
It's truly the prayer of our heart for everybody on the spell tape. May you feel the love within you that creates such a happiness, such a freedom that you know that you are beautiful, you are marvelous. You are the presence of love. In this season of mystery, as the new earth is emerging, may love guide us all. That is in our inheritance.
Thank you for that beautiful, beautiful song. Written mix. Very, very beautiful. Really appreciated that.
Thanks for singing along.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah, really, it's been so enjoyable. I'm sure I hope to have you come on again. But
we would love to. We would love to. Blessings in all that you are sharing with the world. Blessings to your family, and just for all that you are stepping out and helping others.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the same for both of you. Thank you for all your work, doing some amazing, amazing work here, and really honored to have you as a guest and to be connected to you and to be sharing everything that you're doing. It's really, really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah.
And bless you and your family and all those that are watching. We love you.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
All right. Bye.
Bye.